Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Try to first. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, good morning. Well, thank you all for being here for this opportunity of service. Prabhu, thank you. Vijay Prabhu, thank you so much. Prabhu. And Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye Nashtarishvadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishiki.
Okay. Today we will read the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 18, text 18. Chapter 18, Maharaj Parikshit, cursed by a Brahmana boy. Text 18. Sutta uvacha Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Vridhanubrityapi viloma jataha
Vridhanubrityapi viloma jata
Dauskulyam adim vidunoti shigram
Dushkulyamadin vidunoti shigram
Mahatamanam abhidana yoga
Mahatmanam vidana yoga.
Sutta uvacha
Sutta uvacha
Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Vridhanubrityapi viloma jata
Vridhanubrityapi viloma jata
Dauskulyam adim vidunoti shigraham
Dushkulyamadin vidunoti shigram
Mahatamanam abhidana yoga
Mahatamanam abhidana yoga. Sutta uvacha Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Vridhanubrityapi viloma jata
Vridhanubrityapi viloma jata
Daushkulyamadin vidunoti shigram
Daushkulyamadin vidunoti shigram
Mahatamanam abhidana yoga
Mahatamanam abhidana yoga. Sutta uvacha Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
Ahobhayam janma brito dyahasma
vrityapi viloma jata.
Vridhanuvrityapi viloma jata.
Doskulyamadin vidunoti shigram.
Doskulyamadim vidunoti shigram.
Mahatmanam abhidhana yoga.
Mahatamanam abhidhana yoga.
Sutta Uvacha.
Sutta Uvacha.
Sutta Goswami said,
Sutta Goswami said,
Aho,
Aho,
how,
how,
Vayam,
Vayam,
we, Janmabrita,
Janmabrita,
promoted in birth,
promoted in birth,
Adya,
Adya,
today,
today,
Ha,
Ha,
clearly,
clearly,
Asma,
Asma,
have become,
have become,
Brita Anubritya,
Vridhanuvritya,
by serving those who are advanced in knowledge,
by serving those who are advanced in knowledge.
Api,
Api, although,
Vilomajata,
Vilomajata,
born in a mixed caste,
born in a mixed caste.
Dauskulyam,
Dauskulyam,
disqualification of birth,
disqualification of birth.
Adim,
Adim,
sufferings,
sufferings.
Vidunoti,
Vidunoti,
purified,
purifies.
Shigram,
Shrigram,
very soon,
very soon.
Mahat Tamanam,
Mahatamanam,
of those who are great,
of those who are great.
Abhidhana,
Abhidhana,
conversation,
conversation.
Yoga,
Yoga,
connection.
connection.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. Would someone like to repeat the translation? The purport? Okay. Purport. Sutta Goswami did not take his birth in a Brahmana family. He was born in a family of mixed caste or an uncultured low family. But because of higher association, like Sri Shukadeva Goswami and the great rishis of Naimisaranya, certainly the disqualification of inferior birth was washed off. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed this principle in pursuance of the Vedic usage, and by his transcendental association, he elevated many lowborn, or those disqualified by birth or action, to the status of devotional service and established them in the position of acharyas, or authorities. He clearly stated that any man, whatever he may be, whether a brahmana or shudra by birth, or a householder or mendicant in the order of society, if he is conversant with the science of Krishna, he can be accepted as an acharya or guru, a spiritual master. Sutta Goswami learned the science of Krishna from great rishis and authorities like Shukadev and Vyasadeva, and he was so qualified that even the sages of Naimisaranya eagerly wanted to hear from him the science of Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he had the double association of great souls by hearing and preaching. Transcendental science, or the science of Krishna, has to be learned from the authorities, and when one preaches the science, he becomes still more qualified. So Sutta Goswami had both the advantages, and thus undoubtedly he was completely freed from all disqualifications of low birth and mental agonies. This verse definitely proves that Srila Sukadeva Goswami did not refuse to teach Sutta Goswami about the transcendental science, nor did the sages of Naimisaranya refuse to hear lessons from him because of his inferior birth. This means that thousands of years ago there was no bar to learning or preaching the transcendental science because of inferior birth. The rigidity of the so-called caste system in Hindu society became prominent within only 100 years ago or so, when the number of Dvijabandhus or disqualified men in the families of higher castes increased. Lord Sri Chaitanya revived the original Vedic system, and he elevated Thakur Haridas to the position of Namacharya, or the authority in preaching the glories of the holy name of the Lord. Although His Holiness Srila Haridas Thakur was pleased to appear in a family of Mohammedans. Such is the power of pure devotees of the Lord. The Ganges water is accepted as pure, and one can become purified after taking a bath in the waters of the Ganges. But as far as the great devotees of the Lord are concerned, they can purify and degrade souls even by being seen by the lowborn, and what to speak of association. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to purify the whole atmosphere of the polluted world by sending qualified preachers all over the world, and it remains with the Indians to take up this task scientifically and those do the best kind of humanitarian work. The mental diseases of the present generation are more acute than bodily diseases. It is quite fit and proper to take up the preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world without delay. Mahatamanam Abhidana also means dictionary of great devotees, or a book full of the words of great devotees. Such a dictionary of the words of great devotees and those of the Lord are in the Vedas and allied literatures, specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Ranjana Shakaya Well, this is an amazing text of the chapter 18. First, I please ask for your blessings, Prabhu, and all you great souls, to properly glorify the Srimad Bhagavatam. And as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this purport, like making reference to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Do you all know this verse? Kivravi Prakivanyashi Shudra Kinenoi Krishna Tatvaveta Sei Guru Hoi, right? That the principle that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu show according to the science of bhakti or Krishna consciousness is that if one person can learn about the glories of Krishna and the holy names, he can immediately be elevated to the position of a spiritual master, of a guru. So that's the potency of the process of bhakti yoga and the chanting of the holy names. And there are very interesting topics here. For example, Janma Brita, that Prabhupada translates as promoted in birth. So a few weeks ago, I was listening a class by one of my senior god brothers, His Grace Narada Muni Prabhu. He's from Russia. He was talking about the dignity in devotional service. So in this world, we are constantly fighting about so different positions or roles, right? Like in different dimensions, like professional dimension or religious dimension, even our roles in family and society and the community. We are constantly fighting about this. But the process of devotional service just create an atmosphere of transcendental unity, and it doesn't matter the background of each one. Through devotional service, we can just achieve the same spiritual dignity. He was using this concept, like spiritual dignity. So Janmabrita, I feel that is related to this concept because through the science of Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada says, we can be promoted to the position of a Vaishnava. So, and the other interesting word here is Adya. He said, Ahobajam Janmabritwadya. That Prabhupada translates as today. It's I found it very interesting and important because devotional service is something it's a dynamic practice. It works through real action. So we worship Krishna in the present. So many times when we are on book distribution, we ask people like, or I don't know what's your mantra or your line, but for example, I often ask people like, have you heard about stress or anxiety, right? And people say like, yes, I live with stress every day or anxiety. And sometimes that happened to us. We are just lamenting from the past and our mistakes, and we live in anxiety because of the future that we actually don't know what's going to happen, but we're just experiencing anxiety. But the magic or the miracle of devotional service is that allow us to worship Krishna in the present, like today. So this word is very important, like Janma Britadya. Like through the practice of devotional service, we can worship Krishna like right now in the present moment, and at the same time be promoted to a better condition of life, to achieve this spiritual dignity as a Vaishnava. So there are some verses from the scriptures that I'd like to share and related to this. Like, for example, in the chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shristam Guna Karma Vivagasha Tasya Kartarama Pimam Vidya Kartarama Vijam. That, let me translate it to English. It's the chapter 4, text 13, that according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. So Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, and as Krishna is transcendental to this system of the four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. So, to become a Vaishnava is the higher goal we can achieve. And when we're like talking about the higher goal of life or the best option or situation that we can actually achieve, it's not on this mood of competition, like because I'm a devotee of Krishna or Vaishnava, now I'm better than karmis or non-devotees. It's just because it's related to the impact that we can do in the world. Just like Prabhupada mentioned on the purport. Like the Vaishnava is the best person in the world because he can do the best service for all living entities. That's actually the meaning of being a Vaishnava. So I remember a class that I heard from His Grace Tribhuvanat Prabhu. Maybe you know or heard about Tribhuvanat Prabhu, Vijay Prabhu. Sure, you heard about it. Great, amazing soul. Like his energy on Harinam was just beyond this. He was so powerful. And one time he was explaining that Harinam he was telling this story that they used to go on Harinam in Oxford Street in London for like 3 hours every day, non-stop, just 3 hours, at least 3 hours every day. And one time, this one lady approached to the Harinam party, and she was a Muslim lady, and she started like talking to Tribhuvanat Prabhu and sharing her story that she used to follow the devotees on Harinam. She met the devotees before, and she used to follow the Harinam in the past for like 2 hours, but from a distance because she was Muslim. But she was attached to the holy name. She loved the chanting and the dancing of the devotees. So she was just following the devotees from a distance for 2 hours. And then she moved to other country, and now she was back in London, and she found the devotees again on Harinam. So that's why she felt inspired to now approach to Tribhuvanat Prabhu and share this. Like, you're the best people in the world. I love what you're doing. So Tribhuvanat Prabhu shared this reflection, like, do not underestimate the power of the holy name. Because even if other people are practicing other spiritual process, they will get this benefit of hearing the chanting of the holy name. And he said, like, don't think you have a better idea. Like sometimes we have doubts about going on the streets and give books or do harinam, and the mind it's always like showing some resistance. But he said like and maybe making other suggestions, like maybe you can stay or just have some prasadam or chant more rounds, or you're tired, you can rest a little more. And he said that don't try to be so clever. Don't think that you have a better idea than God, because the Harinam Jagya, this process of bhakti yoga is actually Krishna's idea. Right? It's Mahaprabhu Chaitanya give us this process of chanting the holy name for our benefit. So it's not invented by some random person or even us. Sometimes we try to invent a new process. But he says this like, and I like this, like, don't try to be so clever that we don't actually are more intelligent than Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So as the text just mentioned, if we just follow the example of other great souls, great Vaishnavas or Acharyas, even if we just see how these great souls are serving Krishna and we learn from them and we try to follow their steps, our process will be successful. And that's why Srila Prabhupada at the end of the purport mentioned Mahatamanam Abhidana. That means dictionary of great devotees, or a book full of the words of great devotees. Because devotees are full of wisdom. They have all the wisdom that we need, and they can purify us if we just hear their preaching, their transcendental words, and we just watch their example and try to follow their example. So I just want to share a few more texts. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 3, chapter 25, text 25, it is said, I think we read this yesterday on the class, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, in the Association of Pure Devotees, discussion of the pastime and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So nice, like, then real devotion and devotional service begin. So Brahmanas, they have so many good qualities. They're clean, they are very well versed in the scriptures. But Vaishnavas also have amazing qualities, 26 qualities. And one important quality, the most important quality, according to our acharyas, is Krishnam Saranam. Do you know what this quality means?
Surrendering to Krishna.
Yeah, it's
Taking shelter
related.
of Krishna.
Yeah, it's always taking shelter in Krishna. And just to close this, we are also in the third canto, chapter 33, text verse 7. Devahuti said that, oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Such a nice verse. And at least I haven't done all these things. That like a few of these things, but not all these things. So that's why I understand that this is all causeless mercy from Krishna and the Vaishnavas. We might do these things in the past, or maybe not, or maybe we just have the good fortune of have received a book from His Grace, Vijay Prabhu, or Adinath Prabhu, or Kaltakarnam Prabhu, or you, or just the mercy of have heard a class by Srila Prabhupada or His Grace by Shishika Prabhu. This is the mercy for Kali Yuga. Right? We might do all these things, or we just might have the good fortune of to find a merciful Vaishnava in this life. And as Shishika Prabhu said the other day, like bhakti comes from bhakti.
Mhm.
So if we want to increase our faith or spirit of service or bhakti, we should ask and pray and beg to these great souls for more bhakti. So I think we're on time for Q&A. I'm going to stop here, and I really appreciate your attention. I'm very thankful of being here. So thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I really like the point about spiritual dignity. So we are always vying for different positions in this world, whether professionally or even in spiritual circles. I want to do Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. I want to become the ashram manager. So I have this mode of controllership. But when we really perform devotional service, actually, yeah, as you mentioned, that it brings transcendental unity. So I was hearing this class by His Holiness Bhadrinarayan Maharaj. It was in LA on taking leadership in ISKCON. He gave a seminar. So he said, leadership means I am blessed to serve the devotees. It's a privilege that I'm getting to serve the devotees. And in another class, I asked this question, how can we have a mode of unity in the ashram? So Maharaj referred to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, one should serve at least 10 Vaishnavas every day. So I really liked your point about spiritual dignity. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, and thank you for sharing these ideas. Amazing.
Very nice class.
Thank you.
We have to get more Vaishnavas in the ashram.
Anybody else has any questions or reflections?
I like 2 points that you brought up. One is like offering worship to Krishna in the present moment. We tend to lose it, and sometimes it becomes ritualistic and is not spiritual anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And if we, like Vijay Prabhu was saying, when we're singing any of the songs during Aarti, it's good to internalize the meaning and sing, remembering the meaning, and that makes it more spiritual and less ritualistic. I really like that you brought it up to being in the present moment. And I also like the point where you said, who can be a better planner than Krishna? There's no, we can, whatever plans we make, man proposes, God disposes.
Yeah.
So who can make better plans than him? And it's foolish of us to think that we can make a plan that is better than what Krishna has already arranged.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Prabhu. And just quoting His Grace, Prabhu Vanat Prabhu. He was exemplary in his service. Very fixed. Well, thank you.
I appreciate the point about transcendental unity through spiritual dignity. And Prabhupada states that also first. The purpose of this count is to unite everyone and establish real unity and peace in the world. So that this one lecture Prabhupada gave is that you say you love the humans, but then you slaughter the animals. This is actually artificial love. It will never work out like that. And then just for understanding dignity a little more, it says it's coming from Latin dignitatum. The root word dignus, which means worthy, proper, or fitting. I appreciate that. If you could perhaps give us a few practical tips for everyone how we can increase our spiritual dignity.
Or spiritual dignity. Well, I once heard from Vaisheshika Prabhu that we all should look for shelter on Nityananda Prabhu lotus feet. And by doing that, we will become representatives of Nityananda Prabhu. He said that every person that chants the holy name and share the holy name with others, it's a representative of Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu showed so many transcendental qualities, but there are 2 qualities that are very important for devotees. One is Adosha Darshi, that dosha means like some agent of suffering, right? Something that makes us suffer. And adosha is the opposite. And adosha darshi means the quality of the person who has a vision free from let me remind it. There are 3 words. It's anger, hate, and aversion. Aversion is a word in English.
Yeah.
And that's very important because, well, anger and hate, it's like the most common thing for ruining anything in this life. And when I cannot control my anger, when I feel that I hate someone, it's like I will ruin anything with every relationship with anger and hate. But aversion, it's something deeper. Aversion is the complete opposite of love, bhakti. Because love means that I want to be close to the someone I love. But aversion means that I'm avoiding that person, of that soul, that living entity. So if we feel aversion to someone, then there's no possibility of understand dignity, because we are taking this person or this living entity to the lower platform, like he or she doesn't deserve my friendship, my presence. It's like, so to really understand dignity, we should remove these 3 things from our life: anger, hate, and aversion. That's adosha darshi. And the other is kripa. Well, kripa. It's I don't remember, it's kripa ja or something like this, but it's related to kripa. It's just mercy. It's trying to show mercy, countless mercy, unmotivated mercy, just because I am trying to be a representative of Lord Nityananda. I'm sorry. Well, this is what I can say about dignity. It's just like Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, on the chapter 2, the science of the soul, precisely to understand that we are all entities from the same quality. We are all spiritual souls. And that's the first uh, component for our spiritual dignity. We are all the same spiritual souls, parts and portions of Krishna. But then, to show this same integrity to all living entities, we can learn these qualities from Lord Nityananda, like adosha, darshi, and kripa. I don't know if that
Thank you, Prabhu.
it's helpful.
Yes,
It's
appreciate it.
helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So,
And anybody online has any questions or reflections? You can stop here. Yeah, we can stop here.
we can stop here. Okay? If it's okay for you, we can stop.
It's great. His grace, Pavana.